Welcome back to Chats and Recaps. As always, my name is Sammy.
And I'm Mimi.
And today we're doing a recap. Now let's get to recapping. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you never miss an upload.
Welcome back to another Bachelor recap.
Oh, sorry.
This time, we're recapping Bachelorette Jojo Fletcher season, aka one of our favorite seasons ever.
Boop, boop.
And also, as previously stated in the last podcast, my favorite Bachelorette.
You know, she kind of dresses like you.
She's like so my style.
Yeah.
I love all the dresses she picked out.
All the gowns that she wore, I could just see you picking them.
All of her gowns were gorgeous. They were gorgeous.
They were gorgeous, darling. Just simply gorgeous.
Darling.
They were just gorgeous.
So let's.
It was so gorgeous, hunty.
So let's dig into it.
Well, alrighty then.
I'll let you take off because you're good. You're really good at doing the limos and just being like, and just saying like, guy with this, person with that, person with the hair. I'm just like, they were limo entrances.
Actually, the only one that really stood out was Chase, who gave her a big, deep kiss. Was it Chase? No, that was Jordan.
In the limo entrance?
Yeah,
no,
that was Jordan.
Nobody gave her a kiss at the limo.
Yes. And she even said, I didn't think I would start, giving a kiss so early.
But it wasn't out the limo. That was later.
No, it was out the limo. She was like, he is good.
I must have missed that.
And with his little group of singers.
Yeah, that was like meh.
Meh.
And then Derek, they showed Derek's intro, like when he came out. And then Robbie, when he came out, he just gives off weird vibes.
All the guys that she stood with towards the end all gave these weird looks. It's like something about their stare, their look. It's like that deep stare like Chad has, like a deep blank deer in the headlight stare.
Luke was the pinnacle of deer in the headlight stare, or he always looked like he just went completely blank.
Right?
And I thought that Jojo and Jordan were the first kiss because she said that when she had made the comment about kissing that early, it was her and Jordan that kissed, but that wasn't out the limo. That was the first night because that was the first kiss. And then they kept cutting to the guys. They kept cutting to the guys, and Daniel was poking Evan's belly button, and he was like, "Is this a Canadian greeting or something?" He's like, "Stop poking my belly button."
I thought he was gonna say, "No, you're the Pillsbury kid."
Why can't a man just poke another man's belly button? That's just weird.
It is weird. Period. I don't care who you are.
And then everything that was going on, they kept cutting to Chad, and Chad was starting on the judging everybody right off the bat. Yeah. Like one of his comments, he said, "Oh, I thought that these were going to be the finest of the finest, and these guys are all just a bunch of like." I don't remember what he said. They're just a bunch of.
Actually, he was like, "I'm here to look for love." I thought all these guys were going to be the best of each state. They ended up being losers that look like they can't even get a date on their own, and that's why they're here.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God.
I was like, what did he think he was in Miss USA, where you only get the best girl from each state? Like, this isn't Miss USA, this is the Bachelorette.
He thought it was a pageant of bachelors.
Apparently.
I guess. So then Daniel.
Maybe that's why he was so consumed with his looks and having muscles.
Mm-hmm. All he cared about was his protein and muscles.
And stuffing his face every 5 seconds. Every conversation he had, he's like, man, these guys are pansies.
Yeah. And then Daniel stripping. It was so funny. She was like, OMG, are you wearing a thong?
Yeah, the first guy to jump in the pool.
These are men briefs. I'm like, no, they're not men briefs.
So they're a thong. Man thong. Mong.
Well, it didn't go up his crack. But
even if it had, they probably wouldn't have shown it.
But there was like no swimming in this pool. He moved all the furniture, took off all his clothes, and dumped in the pool.
And I think the pool was actually gated off Because it wasn't meant to be used for that night. And he just like opened the gate and jumped in. Crazy.
He's like, who's with me? Everybody's looking at him like, don't do it.
That guy's doing his interview and he's like, and he just jumped in the pool.
It's like, don't do it.
Honestly, he just came here to have a good time.
So he's obsessed with poking people in the belly button and jumping in pools naked. Well, he wasn't naked. He had on his man briefs.
They were going in and out of showing her like having conversations with different people and like her first impressions. And one thing that I liked about her season is that I felt like she is so invested in everything that was happening at all times. Like she had a conversation with somebody, she's like 100% like super invested in them. Like they could have been reading her the phone book and she was just looking like she's so into everything they're saying.
Yeah, she was all in it.
She was like all in. She was not playing around.
Chase. First date.
Oh yeah.
What the heck is a yoga tantrum orgasm?
It was an anger-gasm.
Yeah, what the heck is that? Who gets an orgasm from being angry?
It's not that you have an orgasm. They just refer to anything that is extremely like satisfying. They call it a gasm. So you can have like, if something's really pleasant to the ear, you can have an eargasm. Just be like, oh my God, that sounds so good. Or if you eat something that tastes really good, you can have like a mouthgasm. They just call it that just because it's something that you find like extremely satisfying.
No comment.
Before they showed the date though, Chris Harrison made a comment. You know how he does those stupid little things like, oh, in this year, like it was so long ago, this is what was happening. Like if it took place in 1800s.
I know.
But he made a comment about Pokemon Go was getting people out of the house, and I said Pokemon Go was also getting some people hit by cars.
Yes.
Remember they almost banned Pokemon Go because people were not paying attention.
People's houses and
getting hit by cars because they were walking into the street. Yeah. It was a real thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. True story. And then when he told his son, well, you just got a glimpse of what college is.
Yeah.
Guys jumping in pool half naked.
And anyways, so back to the yoga date. I was like, I was looking at it like, is this really considered yoga? Like, if this is yoga, then I can be a yoga instructor.
Chase was like, I've never heard of a tantrum yoga thing, but okay, I'll do it for her. And then that lady was like, yib, yam, yum. Yib, yum, yum. What the heck?
I don't know what that was.
And then you could tell, though, that they had a good connection. They had a pretty deep connection. I kind of thought she would have ended up with Chase when I first watched this. But of course, you know.
They definitely had a lot of chemistry. A lot of chemistry.
They were hot.
They were very hot and heavy.
She was like, Chase was the first guy that I mounted.
Oh, she's like, she can say officially this is the first time on a first date she has mounted a guy.
Okay, like he's a horse.
But I remember watching and I remember really liking him in the show when we first watched her season. Yeah, and I was hoping she would pick him.
But if you notice, all the guys that she really had a connection with, they all resemble each other.
Yes, in a lot of ways. They all kind of almost have the same physical structure, like almost same face structure. They almost dress the same. I know.
Even though it's not that hard to, because what big difference is there in guys' dress suits and stuff. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, when you have a character like Daniel, anything could happen.
What are you telling?
And then they had the firefighter date.
You know what's sad though? Because Daniel is a good-looking guy. And he looked really nice in his suit. Mm-hmm. But then he started acting weird, and then I was like, ugh, turn off.
The personality offsets the looks.
Yeah. Anyway, so then Wells' date.
Yeah, the firefighter date, the one that they said was so embarrassing. I was like, dang, what was so embarrassing about him that I don't remember?
He couldn't break the thing with the hatch.
Yeah.
And he almost passed out.
That would have been me if I was on that date. I would be like, like dying. Like they're in all of this freaking firefighter.
Yeah, no, but the embarrassing
gear.
part is that all the guys that were on this group date were all big and muscly, and they were like bam, bam, pounding, and then they were like all
They
good
could all
and
do
everything.
it except for him.
And he couldn't. He was like, "Oh, the suit was too big." And Chris was like, "I'm sorry, they were all adult size."
That was messed up.
You know, there was no kid size. So.
Yeah, Chris is a savage with the
Yeah.
stuff he'd be saying to people sometimes. Like when he was like, "I'm making eye contact with you."
But then the other guys, because she started paying more attention to him because he almost passed out, like they had to come and lay him down and give him some water and give him some cool stuff because he was almost passed out. And they all got a little jealous because they're like, maybe I should have acted like I passed out.
Right.
Yeah, because then he got that rose.
Well, one thing though, he could have like, what's the word? He could have sissied out and just been like, "Oh, I can't take it, can't do it." But he points for persistence. He didn't give up. He kept going, even though like they had to make him stop. So they're like, he's gonna pass out. He doesn't look good. He doesn't look good. But he kept trying. So to me, effort means a lot more than, you know.
And another thing, the main reason with the thing was he was the only guy that
hadn't
has not kissed her. Where she actually had to send a card that says, first, it says, "Bésame muchacho," which means kiss me, boy.
Yeah, that was awkward. Then it put him on the spot in front of all the guys. They're like, "Really? You haven't kissed her yet?"
I'm just like, kiss her already. And then when he finally kissed her, it was like, yes, finally. Now you got to go home.
Yeah. I know, they didn't show the breakup.
No.
But he went home after that.
Yeah. That's funny.
I don't think the kiss was that good.
Although he is engaged to Sarah.
Yeah, so really he won.
Modern Family. Modern Family, my favorite show, which ended. He's engaged to her, cool. So they haven't set a date, but she did state that he is the best kisser. So
that is a good relationship dynamic right there. The fact that she could watch it with him and literally be like, "Oh my God, I watched this." And she was like rooting for him to kiss her too. And I was like, "Oh my God." See, this is what a secure couple looks like. Two people that are totally secure that don't have to feel weird looking back on something that was his past.
Exactly. They sat there.
Sarah Hyland, she looks like a really cool person.
She is. She does.
You've met her?
Oh no,
I thought she was like a really cool person. You're like, she is. You met her?
I mean, she looks like she is. She looks like she's fun, not caring about. She doesn't look like she's gonna waste her time caring over stupid stuff. Yeah. She has he's engaged to her. That was his past. It was funny, and she's got a good humor.
Did you see that brief moment when he was saying something about, that people didn't think after that, how could he have a girlfriend? And then he said fiance, but after he said girlfriend, she looked at him for a second like, and then he said fiance, and she was like, yeah.
Yeah, and then he picked up the wrong hand. She's like, wrong hand, babe.
They're cute.
Like, this is it. This is the hand that has the ring.
They're cute. I like them.
Yeah. I think they grow great together.
Yeah, they do.
She's tiny. He's tiny. Perfect match.
Then what happened after that?
Then it was Chad's group date. Was it Chad's group date?
I think so because
it was.
I noted that I was like, he's the guy who acts like he's too cool to do anything. It was the date where they were pretending like how they would propose to her.
Yes.
And they were all saying all the stuff, and then they were running around doing all these crazy things and like having fun. And he was standing over there like, "Oh, these guys are such idiots. They're falling over each other, looking like fools, making complete fools of themselves." I'm like, "Oh my God, here we go." It's the guy who thinks he's too cool to do anything that's even remotely weird because he can't be a cool guy.
As he called them, a parade of losers. So
as he's being the person who's just standing there not having fun at all.
So they mostly show like
stick in the mud,
like all the things that he was doing around the house and how the guys felt about him. And James was like, they were all looking at him because he strapped his luggage around his waist and he started doing push-ups or pull-ups. And James was like, he looked out the window and then he when he was being interviewed, he says, "Nothing gives a better gift than watching a man exercising with his luggage hanging from his waist."
That was a weird thing to say.
And a creepy thing to say. For them to all be watching him.
I know, I was going to say, it makes it worse because they were watching.
And then he's like, at the rose ceremony, they were like, he walked over to a group of guys and he had a plate of meat. And they're like, eating. Like, who cares about eating? We're here to get that rose. And he's like, what? Meat on a stick? You want some? They're like, no. He's like, it's meat delicious. On a stick is delicious.
That was his catchphrase for everything. Everything that he had, anything he ate, he'd be like, oh, it's delicious.
Yeah. Raw sweet potato is delicious. Then he, obviously, there was a lot of altercations with him and the other guys throughout the episode until he was sent home. I don't know how he lasted that long.
Right?
With all the altercations.
The Daniel and Chad conversation when he was like explaining to him with the issue with him and the guys in the house, he was like, hey, let's say you're Hitler. He's like, let's not say I'm Hitler. He's like, but let's say you're Hitler. We can just not say I'm Hitler. And he's like, okay, well, let's say you're Trump.
Why do I have to be anybody? And
I'm like George Bush. Be like George Bush.
He's like, why do I have to be like anyone?
I don't know. He's like, just level with me for a moment. And it's like Daniel, the most eccentric guy in the house, also at every corner trying to be the voice of reason. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can't be the voice of reason and walk around in your underwear at the same time.
And then as he was telling them that, if anybody noticed, he was eating raw sweet potato. Like if it was a stick, like a carrot stick. So
I think at that point they should have had a check on his mental health.
So I
just kidding.
Kind of put some of the things that he said, like meat is delicious. Mm-hmm. He called certain groups of guys that would keep surrounding him and kind of attacking him. He's like, oh, they look like a bunch of Care Bears surrounding you to kick your ass. And then when he told Alex, F you for real, but if you keep that up, you're going to lose your teeth. Then he walked away and he came back and he's like, you should be scared of me. Actually,
I did make note of a couple of his quotes too. And then, because then they started going into the big, like him versus Alex. Alex was just constantly poking him. And then it's like Alex thought that he was what they call them, the white knight. He thought he was the white knight. Like it's his duty to protect Jojo from him or whatever, as if he is something. I don't know. And then they go into the Evan steroid comedy thing when he was going up there talking about steroids.
All right. Maybe he shouldn't have grabbed him. He broke his shirt. I'm kind of conflicted in between because I kind of agree with him and I kind of don't agree with him. But it still was kind of funny when he grabbed Evan's shirt and Evan just freaked out. And he freaked out so much to the point that he pulled Chris to the side and he said, I'm not feeling safe in this house. He's threatened everybody. He literally tore my shirt. But he didn't say why he tore his shirt. And then he said, and he also threatened Jordan. He told Jordan that when he leaves, he's going to hunt him down and kick his ass.
He did say that. And after the comedy thing, first he pulled his shirt when he was passing by him and ripped his shirt. Mm-hmm. Then they went backstage. He punched the door. His fist was bleeding. Mm-hmm. Then he walked into the back where all the guys were and he shoved Evan. Yeah. And then the Jordan threat happened earlier, though.
Yes. So
and notice Jordan didn't say anything about it. No, Evan chose to add it on top of his list of reasons why he felt,
of course,
threatened by him.
So then Alex pulled Chad. That was the first time he pulled Chad, and he said, the guys aren't feeling safe around you. That's something that we can't tolerate. What's going on? And Chad's like, nothing. There's some discussions, but there's nothing.
Right.
So they set some bodyguards, and he's like, really, bodyguards?
Hold on a second. There's an important quote that I have to say here. After his conversation with Chris, he was like, oh my God, are these guys serious? Like, they're really tattling on me. They really feel threatened by me. And then he said, he is going to cut everyone's legs and arms off and throw their torsos in the pool.
Yes. He said, I'm going to cut I had to write every single word he said. He said, I'm going to cut everyone's arms off, the legs and torsos, and throw it all in the pool. I was like, creepy.
I'm going to take this place down.
Yeah, creepy.
But obviously that didn't happen. And then they move into the Chad and Alex 2-on-1.
Yeah, the 2-on-1.
Of which they didn't show a lot of details other than Alex and Jojo chatted. He told her about all the stuff that was going on in the house, about his threats and everything that was happening. And then she talked to Chad. And then Chad basically didn't do himself any favors.
No, he didn't deny anything.
He made himself look a little bit more unstable, if anything, rather than just saying at least he wasn't giving like concrete examples of what happened. Like maybe if he would have said, oh, well, he was talking about me this, or he said this to me and he said that, and then this is how I retaliated. All he just kept saying was, well, what do you expect me to do? Yeah. And just like, well, I expect you to act like a human, like a regular person, and have conversations. And he's like, well, that doesn't get me anywhere, but like at least give some examples, like say, hey, this happened. I tried to talk to him about this. This is how I came. This is how he responded. So I lost it. And then I said that. And then maybe she would at least have a fuller picture, but he wasn't like backing up anything he was saying.
No. He wasn't denying anything. He just probably felt like I shouldn't have to explain myself to you. It was funny because he's like, well, you were in the same setting that I am in. And so what did you do?
Have those problems.
She's like, well, they asked me questions, but it never got to the point where anybody was being threatened or you know, escalating. He's like, well, what else would you want me to do? Like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, well, that's when she stood up and she's like, you could talk like adults. And he's like, well, I tried doing that. It doesn't work.
Well,
it doesn't work with these guys. And then she's like, why are you smiling? Because he started smiling. He's like, if you have a better way of working out with the guys, then I want to hear it.
Well, he just came off sarcastic, like macho man. Yeah. It's like there's nothing attractive about it. Yeah. And then she's only getting the one side, and then that's what he's presenting to her. So what do you expect her to think? She's gonna fully believe everything they're saying at this point. She's like, it's not a joke. You think it's a joke? It's not. I don't take that as a joke.
And then, oh my gosh, he started whistling on his way back.
Yeah, and then he said, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
And Alex was like, what?
Oh, wait, no. First,
I'm not happy with you.
Yeah, he said, I'm not happy with you. Then he said, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. And then he was drinking the milk. And then he was like, maybe you should have some milk and calm down, man. Yeah. He was like, I don't like milk. And he was like, why not? Milk's delicious.
Milk's delicious. And then he's like, life is not all blueberries and paper planes. You should calm down and have a glass of milk. Alex said, I don't like milk. You should. Milk's delicious. Well,
and then they said
there's something about in the barn.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, the pig is in the castle.
Yeah, Alex said hay's in the barn, and then Chad said pigs in the castle. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? Is there some inside thing with this that I'm not aware of?
I don't know. He's like, I want to hurt you, but I don't want to get in trouble. And Alex is like,
that was funny.
He's like, am I getting pranked on? Right now? Am I getting pranked on?
When she sent him home. When she sent him home and walked away with Alex, he's like, am I getting pranked on? And he was like, in no time in the world does any girl ever pick Alex.
He's like, now? Well, before Alex went to talk to him, he was like, if he's talking about me, I'm going to have to punch his teeth out.
He said he's going to take his teeth home, yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, he was like, well, time to look for Alex.
Oh my God. I was like, seriously, you just make yourself look worse.
And then he just started whistling.
Yeah, and then they made it look like he's just wandering through the woods back to the house. You know that producers led him there.
Yeah. And then he knocks on the door and all the guys start freaking out.
when he put his hands on the doors, when he put his hands on the window and was like dragging the hands down, it's like,
they're like, are you serious? And then when he finally left, oh my God, I forgot this part. You know that? They took his protein shake mix, whatever was left of it, and they acted like that was his ashes. They did their ceremony thing, and then they spread the protein like ashes.
Yeah, I was like, okay, y'all are taking it too far now. You're doing the most. Like, they threw the party, fine, but really, you're gonna do a ceremony with ashes? Like, really? Come on.
Yeah. And then, of course, he went home.
Yep. And then they went into the Derek love story, which I don't feel like there was a whole lot to.
No, other than I think he's a Harry Potter fan.
He made a Harry Potter reference.
Yeah, he did a lot of references to Harry Potter.
That he was nerdy.
Yeah, and that he looked like Harry Potter when he was young. Oh, we forgot the part where they had like in the hotel, she was in the room with them just talking after Chad, and then they did a truth or dare, and all the guys was running around. Naked,
Robbie ran down the thing in his underwear.
That's so funny.
That was a 3-on-1, I think.
Oh, and then they showed Evan and Will, and then Will was giving him the recipe.
Oh yeah, I didn't notate those.
For Chad's drink. And then
the Chad.
They showed Carly and Evan. They look like they're happy. They have 2 kids. And like with Derek, I don't know. There wasn't a connection. And when he said he was falling in love with her, I completely understand why she sent him home. Because she didn't want him staying around with those kind of feelings, knowing she can never give it back to him. But
the fact that the one thing is when they did the interview, he did it, and he did it in the show, and he said when he got sent home, I am Derek, and Derek is imperfect. And I was like, why are you talking about yourself in the third person? And then when he was doing the interview with Chris, he also talked himself in the third person again in the interview. I was like, what's with the third person thing? Like, are you outside of yourself?
Oh my God, it was so funny when he got in the limo and they was taking him home and they started singing Don't Cry For Me, Argentina.
Oh yeah, and he said his friends do it on his birthday still.
And he's like, my friends still play that to this day on my birthday. Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. I thought I was gonna die.
ABC didn't do any favors by doing that whole thing. They kept cutting Don't Cry For Me, and then he's in the car like, why am I crying? And he's like, man, they say I'm not gonna cry, and I cry, and they just keep going back and forth, her and Chase, and Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. Like that was funny. Oh my gosh,
that was so funny.
I forgot about that.
He turned around, he's like, I got my box of tissues, Chris.
Oh my gosh,
that's funny.
That was too much.
And then there was
Derek has just been done not good various times in The Bachelor.
Like, Derek is not perfect.
Yeah,
I'm perfect at all. I'm like,
I am Derek.
No, I was thinking, who is he? The little character from Derek. Harry Potter when he freed him.
I am Dobby. And Dobby is a free elf. Oh yeah, Dobby talks in the third person.
Yeah, he does.
I am Derek, and Derek is imperfect, and Derek is a free man.
He is not perfect.
And Derek has a podcast. Don't forget about the podcast.
Oh, the one that was blatantly talked about.
He was like, nobody cares about your podcast.
Paradise.
Yeah, with John Paul Jones.
Oh my gosh. Funny. I can't wait. I can't wait for another Paradise.
Yeah, did you see? Oh, that's next. Luke. Luke is next.
Luke, I am not your father.
No, he says no. I am your father.
I am not.
Darth Vader is Luke's father. He didn't say he's not his father. He said he is.
So we already went through that. We know he is.
Anyways, so Luke.
His father.
Oh my gosh. Luke made it all the way to hometowns.
Yes.
But not to fantasy suites. And he was one of the slower people in their relationship. But she was just, I feel like for her and Luke, her attraction to him was mostly that he was like mysterious, and she just thought he was like really sexy. So I feel like it was more of a physical attraction and slightly lacking in emotions, mostly because he couldn't open up. And then ultimately finally in like hometowns, he finally started really opening up to her. And I remember like watching the season the first time, and I really wanted him to go further. Like I actually wanted her to pick him. There are so many people I wanted her to pick that I ended up liking so much. Like I wanted her to pick Luke, then I wanted her to pick Chase, and then all this stuff.
But I didn't want her to pick Robbie.
No, I didn't want her to pick Robbie. No. I was like, please not Robbie, please not Robbie.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope she took him to the end to make it easier to pick Jordan.
With Luke, you know, he's this cowboy, sexy, mysterious. Who doesn't love a cowboy when they look good?
Yeah, he even has the bow leg,
yes,
and everything, like from horseback riding.
Yes. Oh my God, when they showed him when he was the guest, he looks so good today than he did back then.
Yeah.
Woo! And he's still available.
And look at what he's doing. Like all the work he said that he does. I thought that was cool.
He's doing military charity.
But wait, the breakup, when she broke up with him in the hangar, that was a really sad breakup.
It was sad. I felt for him.
He
put it all out there.
He literally looked like a robot that got like some overwire or something and it couldn't process, and he was just like so. That was like the ultimate face of shock. It was like he couldn't even process, and then he was like, "This is not supposed to be happening. This is not supposed to happen." And he's like, I don't like what went wrong, and I told you this, and we had this, and it's like, I just don't understand." And yeah, that was a hard breakup.
I thought like, damn, he looked like a deer with his head caught in the headlights.
She had a lot of rough breakups in her season.
Yeah, she did.
A lot.
She did.
But how can you blame them? Like, it's JoJo. It's like you're almost, when you're with her, you're almost guaranteed to fall in love with her.
Yeah, that's true. She has a lovable character.
Yeah, she's just a lovable person.
Yeah, and the thing that got me was it was hard for him to say his feelings. And then after talking to his sister, you know, with the issues that they had, the hard divorce that his mother and father went through, the way his father treated them.
No, that's Chase. That's Chase. That's Chase.
That? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's not
Chase.
Luke. That was Chase.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Luke, I'm so sorry.
Luke didn't have that history. He just, in general, was just a more reserved person. That was Chase. Then they go into the Chase and JoJo continuing their story, and they showed his hometown and why he had a hard time being open and vulnerable because of the divorce. They had a really, really rough divorce. And then he had the conversation with his sister, and but he was saying, you know, how he feels about her, that he really loves her, and that he really wants to share that with her. So it was kind of like his first relationship where he really like felt comfortable opening up and being vulnerable for like the first time.
Yeah, but I thought he was also weird too, because he was like saltwater fish, fisherman. It's all romantic.
Some guys think fishing is romantic.
I was like, what was romantic about that date? And I don't know.
Well, it's all about perspective. I guess if you're with the right person, anything can seem romantic.
I don't know. And then he opened up and told her he loved her.
Yes, that was after they had their date, and then they were going into the fantasy suite together. So they both accepted the fantasy suite, and he told her that he loved her.
And then she couldn't finish.
She couldn't continue after that. Then she broke up with him, and he was just like, that was another really rough breakup. I really felt for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took that really hard. He was like, all this, and then I finally felt comfortable to open up, and then when he was leaving in the car and he was like, why did I do that? Why did I tell her that? I shouldn't have said that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's gonna make it.
Don't walk away feeling that way. And he's like, well, how else do you want me to feel? Like, how am I supposed to feel?
I mean, how else do you expect someone to feel? They tell you they love you, and you're immediately like.
He was like, I felt like she pulled my pants down and kicked me right in the nuts.
That was a bit of a graphic way to say it, but I guess so. I mean, that's how he feels.
Because if you kick a guy in the nuts, you take away their breath. They can't breathe. Yeah, so he probably felt like he couldn't breathe. Like, I finally tell this person that I love them, and I get sent home. So
yeah, what you were saying earlier about all the guys kind of having like the same look.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. They all have this look of like shock or unable to comprehend what's happening. Like, it's like a common theme.
They have like this look, like a dead look.
Like shocked.
I don't know. Then they talked a little bit about Tyler C. from the Hannah Brown season. How his best friend is the new Bachelor. His name is Matt. James. I think he's very handsome. I think he's going to be a good... I mean, after his little interview and talking with him for a little bit, I think he's going to be good. I think he'll be a good Bachelor. He shows some good characters. Yeah, the way he speaks and everything.
Yes, and from what I know about him, he does a lot... Him and Tyler do a lot of charity work together. And he believes a lot in like giving back to the community, and they do like food drives and like all kinds of stuff. So he has a lot of good qualities about him.
Well, after all that big mess between him and the new Bachelorette, now he's gonna be the Bachelor. Hey,
so
handsome Bachelor.
He won.
Yeah, he did.
And then the last two, we wrap up Robbie and Jordan.
So, was Robbie on Bachelor in Paradise?
Yes. He had a relationship with Amanda, and there was this whole big thing that he cheated on her.
Yeah. Did he wear a suit on the beach or something? Because I kind of remember him as the guy who wore the suit to the beach.
He might have worn a suit jacket.
To the beach with shorts, right?
Possibly.
Something like that.
Possibly. I think so. He looks like he would.
Yeah, and everybody was like talking about him. Like, who wears a suit to the beach?
Maybe. He got a bad rep, like a really bad rep later.
Yeah, after doing the Paradise thing.
Yeah. I think there's a whole big thing that he had, like, him and Amanda got together in Paradise, and then something like he cheated on her, and then there's like all this stuff, and then, I don't know, maybe he has a history of infidelity or something. I don't know.
Don't know.
Don't quote me on that. I don't know the full story. I just know a couple of things I've seen here and there.
I do know. I mean, she enjoyed her time with him. He did spend the fantasy suite with her.
I never
saw.
But
I didn't see that chemistry, that heat between them. It felt like two friends hanging out, kissing.
I agree.
Friends with benefits.
Yeah, I never got her, like, attraction to him for him to make it to the final two. I thought it was kind of weird. I would have seen like her and Chase and Jordan, but not Jordan and Robbie.
But I can understand why not Chase, because Chase was so involved that I felt like she already had her sight and feelings on Jordan, and Chase could have made her more confused. So let me send the person who can confuse me of how I'm feeling about Chase, and let me go after what I'm feeling for Chase, than to keep Robbie around, which she knew she wasn't going to pick him at the end. So I thought that was fair. Why keep Chase around with those feelings if it's not going to happen?
But then she was like so torn in the end. She was like, I don't know if I should pick him or if I should pick if Robbie. She was like, if I pick Robbie, then I might always wonder what would have happened with Jordan. If I pick Jordan, I might always wondered what would have happened with Robbie.
But when she told him, please don't kneel down because I don't want to take that away from you.
Right.
She wasn't as broken. I think she was more broken for Luke than Chase or any other guy.
I don't know. She was crying a lot. And then she said...
Not as much. Not until she was like, I can't wait for... Jordan to come down there.
Yeah, then she was like, the only thing getting me through this moment is knowing that she's going to see Jordan. And I was like, oh, it's so cute.
Yep.
Which she has my favorite proposal I've ever seen on the show.
I mean, even
their proposal I've watched like 5 times.
I know. Even though she did tell Robbie that she loved him. I mean, you could love him, but not be in love with him. And she wasn't in love with him. She made the right choice.
Definitely. So then, I mean, obviously, she's still happily together with Jordan.
They had a lot of heat and chemistry.
And his proposal was way better.
A lot.
Yeah, they had a really cute proposal. He got down on one knee. They were both shaking. And they couldn't stop saying, I love you. And it was so cute. They're my favorite proposal. You could hear it in their voice.
They were nervous.
Every time I watch their proposal, it makes me feel emotional with them. It makes me want to cry tears of joy.
Yeah. Now, when they were showing the clips of her and Jordan through their dates, of all the guys that told her, I could see myself with you. I'm falling in love with you. I could see myself spending the rest of my life with you. She then says, it's hard for her to believe that because Ben told her the exact same thing. And it's like, why did she tell that to Jason, but not to the other guys?
Jordan.
I mean, to Jordan, but not to the other guys.
So to go with that, that's where I kind of agree with your point about why she took Robbie to the finals, because she knew she was going to pick Jordan. Mm-hmm. I feel like the whole time she kind of knew she was going to pick him.
Oh, of course.
And only because, like, out of all the conversations she had with all the other guys, the only one that she had a fear or like any reservations, just like slight reservations, was about Jordan. And that's because she was like so invested in him, and she like knew she wanted to pick him, but she wanted to be so sure that he wasn't going to break her heart. So it was important to her before they got to the end that she was able to like get all that validation she needed to feel safe.
Yeah.
But I think she knew the whole time she wanted to pick him. Of
course. So did I. I always knew she was going to pick him. And that's how she chose who she was going to take towards the end.
She challenged him, but in like a good way.
Yeah, she did.
She challenged him in the ways of which he needed to be challenged for her to get what she needed.
Yeah.
To make her decision. And like vice versa. Yeah. She would ask him questions that, really make him think. Like, are you sure? Like, you say you want to be with me and this and that, but are you sure? And how do you know?
Yeah. And then Robbie was like, well, don't settle. She's like, I'm not settling.
She didn't.
I got a handsome man that's about to come down that aisle
and propose to me. Mm-hmm. With a giant rock.
Well, I guess until you're not in a bachelor's shoes, you really don't know what they're going through, or it's hard. It's hard. Like, you're going to get feelings for all the people you have connections with. That's something that you can't avoid.
That's true.
Whether you're not in love with them, but you've, end up getting feelings and you don't want to hurt them. But in the end, that's,
whether the relationship you're building is a romantic one or a friendship, it's still, like you said, it's hard to hurt someone else's feelings.
That's true.
Because you do grow to care for people, especially when you're spending time with them like that and getting to know them.
Yeah, and she's like, Robbie changed me. Robbie changed me so that she knew who she really wanted to pick. Mm-hmm. I was like, dang. So he prepared you for Jordan?
Why do you want to call him Jason?
Because my thing auto-corrected from Jordan to Jason. And it's like all over my thing saying Jason.
They have a perfect name combo. Jojo and Jordan. Jojo and Jordan. It just goes together. Jojo and Jordan. Jojo and Robbie don't go. Robbie and Jojo. Jojo and Robbie. Those don't go. Jojo and Jordan is just like perfect.
Junior.
JR.
That's a junior relationship. We're in a JJ relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're still together. They were supposed to get married on June the 13th, my birthday. June the 13th was their wedding date, and they couldn't because of the COVID situation. Yes. So they moved it to next year.
Unfortunately.
But it was so cool what Chris did for them. He had her parents come with this little wedding cake. It was cool.
That was cute.
Yeah.
And their brand new house, they said that they just built together.
Yep, in Dallas, so Texas. Cool. And
so
Jason,
cool.
Jordan looks hot. Like, what the heck? He does not look like the date. No.
I feel like he looks the same. I feel like they look
better.
I feel like they look almost identical to how they looked on the show.
No.
Like they haven't aged 5 seconds.
No. He looks like he's older, mature, and better.
Well, they've been through a lot together. They've both grown as individuals and together. And they did like a YouTube video where they kind of explained like their first year. They talked about it briefly, how their first year was really rough and they almost didn't even make it through the first year.
Yep,
but they decided that, they loved each other and they wanted to work through it. And then they did. And then they became so much better because of it.
Yep, they sure did.
So,
well, like I say,
he did say he was going to wake up every day choosing her until she didn't want him to anymore.
Yeah. And I guess they're going to...
And it's been 4 years.
Yep.
So on the 5th year, they'll be married. And then I guess they'll start having kids or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
They're like kids, marriage, kids.
They built the home.
They already did the first part. They built their home.
They built their relationship.
Marriage and kids.
Yeah.
And they're great business partners.
Yeah, it's good that they did
couples.
That.
Yeah.
Sometimes they rush into it, get married right away. It doesn't last, this or that. So they really took their time.
Yeah, they did. And that's probably why it's going to last longer.
Yeah.
So on the next episode, they're actually going to do 2 seasons.
Yes.
One
probably
because
they're so
Alex
boring.
Mitchell. No, because it's like the very, very first episode of The Bachelor and the very, very first episode of The Bachelorette.
Oh, the very first season.
Yeah, the very first season. So it's going to be Alex Mitchell and Trista Rim.
I don't know what her last name was, but I know her name is Trista.
Yes, I think it's just the Rim.
Trista's season was on Tubi, where you can watch like shows for free. I don't think it still is, but Trista's season was on there, and I had started watching it, but it was so boring. The first seasons I think were like so boring, and people were just different, and the style was so. I was like, oh my God, I remember people used to dress like that and we all thought it was cool. And everybody's hair is spiked. And I'm just like, oh my God. What is that? Like, it was like 2000s. We're talking like Backstreet Boys era.
The Bachelorette aired probably, I think, 2005. 3 seasons after the first Bachelor.
No, more than that. Because Bachelorette was on Bachelorette was on season like 18 and Bachelor's on like season 20 something. 25.
Something like that.
I can fact check.
Fact check.
Let's see. So the first season of The Bachelor premiered on March 25th, 2002.
And I think on the 13th episode of The Bachelor was The Bachelorette.
And the first season of The Bachelorette premiered January 8th, 2003. Wait, what? That can't be right.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that can't be right. Peter Weber was The Bachelor season 24. And then before Peter was Hannah Brown. So Hannah Brown, Bachelorette season. And Hannah Brown was Bachelorette season 15. So Claire would be season 16. Yeah, so Peter is season 25 and Claire is season 15.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's going to be 15.
So they must have aired quite a few seasons. So they aired 10 more seasons of The Bachelor than there are The Bachelorette.
Okay, so Trista's name is Trista Nicole Sutter.
It wouldn't sound like that.
Like it.
Are you gonna give more info on her?
Nah. So we're gonna watch Trista's season and Alex's season.
Correct.
They're putting it both together. I guess because it was so boring, there wasn't a lot of drama, so they can do the twofer.
Yeah, I mean, you could judge for yourself if it was boring, but to me, it was pretty boring. I mean, there was still drama, but it was like stupid drama. It's not like how there is drama today. Like, if there's drama, it's something so small and dumb, it's almost not worth airing. Like, the drama they had back then probably wouldn't even be considered worth airing today. Like, it's like, meh.
Well, you know how the first season
and they were just
is.
So boring, and you know how things were back then. People were more conservative.
It was more
and
a bachelor
less personality
guy and a whole bunch of pageants.
Yeah, it was
and
like
then a bachelorettes and a whole bunch of pageants.
The first couple of seasons of Bachelor and Bachelorette were like American Bandstand. You know, there was like, there's no personality. People don't. They're like there's no dancing. People stepping left and right was considered dancing.
I grew up on American Bandstand.
And when the people would come up and they would be like, "Where's your name and where you're from?" and they would just say it like Samantha. Florida.
What's wrong with that?
There's no personality. It was so boring.
Whatever.
Anyways, the differences between then and entertainment today.
Whatever.
But yeah. So that's the ending of the recap for this episode on JoJo's season of The Bachelorette. And next time we'll be talking about the next recap on the first ever Bachelor and Bachelorette. And this Friday we'll be dropping an episode talking about Law of Attraction.
Yes.
So stay tuned. And as always, make sure to properly social distance on the street and in public. And make sure you wear your face mask properly and wash your hands and sanitize.
And as always, stay safe.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you never miss an upload.